The world looks to the skies as a symbol of connection, a network that binds us all. But on July 28, 2025, that network fractured over Alaska. A deliberate, unprecedented shutdown silenced the air above Anchorage. The cause, Alaska Airlines Flight 558. The incident sent shockwaves far beyond the snowy peaks of the last frontier. It exposed vulnerabilities in the systems we trust for global travel and commerce. Anchorage's airport, a vital hub, was shut down, triggering a domino effect across the Pacific. Flights rerouted, supply chains strained, and confidence in aviation safety shaken. The ordeal forced a conversation about the security of our skies and the fragility of our interconnected world. This is more than a story about one flight, it's a wake-up call. We'll take you through every critical moment, from the first alert to the decision to ground one of the world's busiest cargo hubs. We'll hear from those at the center of the chaos, and examine why Alaska's role is so crucial. This is not just a report on an airport shutdown, it's an investigation into the state of air safety today, and what must change to keep the skies a symbol of connection, not fear. The silence over Alaska was brief, but its message will echo for years. To grasp the impact of Anchorage's shutdown, you must understand Alaska's unique place in aviation. Alaska is a global crossroads. Its location makes it a critical link between North America and Asia. The Great Circle Route, the shortest path between continents, passes directly overhead. Anchorage became a major refueling and cargo hub, shaping its infrastructure and identity. Ted Stevens' Anchorage International is among the world's busiest cargo airports, a linchpin for high-value goods. Shutting it down is like closing a major artery in global trade. Alaska's harsh environment and reliance on air travel demand a robust safety culture. But Flight 558 introduced a new kind of threat, one that exploited the very interconnectedness that makes Alaska vital. The incident forced a re-evaluation of overlooked vulnerabilities. It tested the system in a way no one expected. July 28, 2025, Alaska Airlines Flight 558, a Boeing 737 MAX, departed Seattle for Anchorage. The flight was routine until it entered Alaskan airspace. Suddenly, the cockpit sent out transponder code 7500, hijacking. Air traffic controllers tried to reach the pilots, silence. The flight stayed on course, but the lack of communication was chilling. Military jets scrambled to intercept. The cockpit looked calm, but the threat was unknown. With no information, authorities made a monumental decision: shut down Anchorage's airport. Flight 558 was ordered to land on a remote runway, isolated from the main terminals. The airport fell silent as the world watched. Negotiators tried to contact the cockpit, no response. After a tense standoff, the captain finally emerged, hands raised. Passengers and crew were evacuated, but the real threat was just being uncovered. The ordeal was only beginning. The shutdown of Anchorage International was unprecedented, a drastic move to contain an unknown threat. Air traffic controllers cleared the skies. Flights circled or diverted, departures grounded. The airport, usually bustling, fell eerily quiet. Emergency vehicles surrounded the isolated runway as Flight 558 landed. FBI, SWAT, police, and bomb squads took positions. Fire trucks and ambulances stood by. The tension was palpable. Every second counted. The aircraft rolled to a stop, surrounded by a perimeter of emergency vehicles. For nearly 2 hours, there was no movement or communication. Finally, the cockpit door opened. The captain and crew surrendered. Passengers were evacuated and screened. Initial reports were confusing. No hijacker was found. Instead, authorities discovered a sophisticated cyber attack. The plane's systems had been remotely compromised, triggering the hijack alert. The threat wasn't a person, it was a digital intruder. The airport was secure, but aviation had just met a terrifying new vulnerability. The world realized the next threat might not come from a weapon, but from a keyboard. The incident redefined what it means to keep the skies safe. The siege was over, but the investigation was just beginning. The 7500 code triggered an immediate multi-agency response. The FAA, NORAD, FBI, and Homeland Security coordinated to isolate the threat and protect the public. Anchorage's closure was a direct application of post-9/11 security doctrine. Air traffic controllers rerouted dozens of flights, straining logistics across the Pacific. Once Flight 558 was grounded, the FBI and cybercrime units took over. The evacuation was slow and methodical, every step taken with caution. The revelation of a cyber attack changed everything. The threat was now global, not local. Homeland Security's cyber experts launched a technical investigation. The immediate danger was contained, but a new, invisible enemy had emerged. Securing the skies would now require defending against threats we couldn't see. Even a brief shutdown of Anchorage sent shockwaves through the global economy. Cargo bottlenecks spiked air freight prices and disrupted supply chains, costing hundreds of millions. The incident exposed how fragile and centralized global trade has become. Politically, the cyber attack ignited fierce debate in Washington and beyond. Lawmakers demanded answers from the FAA, Boeing, and cybersecurity officials. The consensus: critical infrastructure is more vulnerable than anyone realized. Public confidence in air travel wavered, as images of the grounded flight dominated the news. Airlines and agencies scrambled to reassure travelers and restore trust. Internationally, the attack forced urgent cooperation on aviation cybersecurity. Nations began sharing intelligence and developing new protocols. The Alaska shutdown was a wake-up call for the entire world. Protecting the skies became a truly global responsibility. Experts quickly concluded that aviation technology had outpaced security. Modern planes are flying data centers. Every new connection is a new vulnerability. The attack on Flight 558 breached core systems, not just secondary ones. Supposedly air-gapped controls were compromised, sending chills through the industry. Regulators faced criticism for lagging behind on cybersecurity standards. The incident forced agencies to fast-track new rules and testing for aircraft software. Pilots trained for physical emergencies now needed to prepare for digital ones. The crew's calm response was praised, but the event exposed a major training gap. Simulators and protocols would need to evolve to match new threats. The lesson: technology and training must advance together. Behind the headlines are the human stories of Flight 558. Passengers described the fear as flight attendants grew tense and fighter jets appeared outside. The silence from the cockpit amplified anxiety. The captain, a veteran pilot, recalled losing control of key systems and watching the transponder squawk 7,500 on its own. The crew relied on their training, flying manually while being treated as a potential threat. On the ground, travelers and cargo workers faced confusion and helplessness as the airport became a high-security zone. Families waited anxiously for news, imagining the worst. The reunion of passengers and loved ones was filled with relief and emotion. For those affected, technical details faded. Their focus was on safety and survival. A man waiting for his family said, "When I saw them walk through that door, it was the greatest moment of my life." These stories remind us what's truly at stake, not just commerce or politics, but people's lives. The ordeal left scars, but also resilience. The human cost of aviation crises is real, and must never be forgotten. In the end, it's the people who matter most. The silence over Alaska is gone, but its lessons remain. The Flight 558 incident showed that threats now come from both the physical and digital worlds. Security must evolve as fast as technology. Aircraft manufacturers and airlines must prioritize cybersecurity as much as structural safety. Regulators need agile, dynamic rules and continuous testing, not just one-time certifications. International cooperation is essential. Cyber threats know no borders. Nations must share intelligence and set global standards for digital security. Public awareness and vigilance are crucial. Confidence in air travel must be rebuilt and maintained. The story of Flight 558 should inspire change, not fear. Safety is a journey, not a destination. The silence over Alaska was a warning. By investing in technology, reforming regulations, and working together, we can keep the skies safe. The future of aviation depends on what we do next.